Assalamu alaikum, everybody. How are you? We are back for another Thursday of Nothing But the Truth with
Brother Jamil.
and Sister Tisha. We're happy to have you all on our airwaves. You know what we do here. It's like stopping by your homie's house to get a cup of that ginger tea, you know, and just a good old conversation with some cool folks. So we want to be the cool folks and you supply the good conversation, but we have an extra special guest tonight who will take us into some understanding of things that really make a difference. Y'all know what we do. Right now, you go in the comments. You go in the comments and let us know who you are and where you're viewing from. We want to see. Oh, there's Brother Pratt X. Salam alaikum from Mosque number 52. I wonder where that is. Fort Worth, Texas is in the house tonight. Good to see you, Brother Pratt. We want to welcome everybody. Come on in the room. Let us know where you're viewing from, who you are. We want to support you as a member of the Nothing But the Truth family because we are a family here. We believe in connecting for those things that are good and staying connected to make sure we get the victory. We want to welcome also Sister Katina Muhammad, also from down in Texas. Good to see you, Sister Katina. Yasina Al-Nur in the house from Fort Worth, Texas as well. Hey, Big Dave C is with us tonight. He's checking in from sitting here in this chair, waiting on NBTT. Oh, baby.
You know what?
Dave, I can't read you. We love you, Big Dave. See, we do. But, you know, seek help. Seek help, my brother. Seek help. We want to welcome Sister. See, I don't know what he's doing. Sister Rachel's she's with us tonight. Sister Rachel, where you're watching from, sis, go ahead in the comments and let us know where you are watching. No.
Sorry. Go ahead. Hey, Sister Rachel.
You done? Is we done or is we finished?
Yeah, I don't know the rest of the words other than that, but type the words, Dave. Tag me in.
Yeah, okay. Don't do it, Dave. We want to welcome Sister Shirley X. Stewart from right there in Kansas City, Missouri, right there at Mosque number 30 in the great city of Kansas City. And also Sister Rachel's with us from Fort Worth is where she's watching from tonight. And a special greeting to Sister Tisha from Sister Rachel. See, as everybody begins to check in the room, Sister Yamina, let us know where you're watching from. We want to make sure we get a chance to tell you on YouTube and on Facebook and on all the other platforms that may be able to see us. We want to make sure we make you an important part of the program that you are. Because in just a couple of moments, we're going to be into a discussion that may make some changes for you and your family that'll stay with you the rest of your lives. That may make some changes because one of Minister Farrakhan's helpers is coming to the microphones tonight. And you don't want to miss that. So everybody, come on in, check in, let us know where you're calling from. Sister Shirley with us from Kansas City. Kansas City, here I come. That's an old one. Y'all know, Lil Willie John. That's back there with James Brown and Kansas. Okay. But we also want to thank you, Sister Yamina, for checking in all around the country. We welcome Brother Harold from Greensboro, North Carolina. And certainly we're happy to see all of our brothers and sisters from around the country. Oh, man, so good to see you. Up Northwest Arkansas.
Who was that?
Checking in the house. It's got to be Sister Shantae and the family. Congratulations, Imani, on your graduation. And we're very happy that you are making the whole family proud. Thank you.
Super
God
proud.
bless. A very special gift coming to you from your uncle here in Washington, D.C. We want to welcome Sister Leanne Stevens Jackson from Bedford, Texas. I don't know where's now Bedford, Texas. Now, where is that? Now?
That's it. It's close to Dallas, too.
It's close to Dallas.
That's my girl.
Where you eat sugar. Leanne. They eat sugar and they grits up in Dallas.
We eat salt and pepper.
I know. I heard y'all eat sugar and your grits. We're going to settle it. Because you ain't got no bit of no grits anyway. But we want to welcome T-Muh and Assalamu alaikum from T-Muh.
Worried about the wrong thing.
I worry about the wrong. I shouldn't worry about that. Don't worry about what people. Let people have their own grits.
Sometimes we put cheese in it. Y'all put cheese in your grits? You put cheese in your grits?
No, I have a very special ingredient that I put in my oatmeal that I would not like to be mocked for.
I was trying to catch him this. Yeah. He said he put it in his grits.
Okay, that's all right. Well, Brother Eric R. Muhammad is on with us tonight from right here in Washington, D.C. Good to see you, number 4, beloved. Always good to see the Muslims from around the country, our brothers and sisters who don't claim to be Islam. That's all right. You come on in from around the country. Sister Tamika, wait, and also where you from, sis? Let us know. We want to, everybody represents here. We're going to come back to the representations. But right now, we got some housekeeping from the pretty, and girl, you look good tonight, honey. You look like a honeybee child
Thank
in them
you.
colors.
A little lotion on my face,
You
little
better
chapstick.
come on,
okay.
buzz on over here.
All right.
Yeah. This is Sister Tisha Muhammad. She's got something to say to us tonight. Sister Tisha?
Welcome, everybody.
Walaikum
Welcome back to another wonderful edition of Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha. We are so glad that you've tuned in to join us. We have an awesome episode ahead. You don't want to miss this. We're going to get right into it. But before we do that, we want to do a little housekeeping rules and remind everybody to please help us grow this platform. And by doing that, all we ask is that you go over to YouTube, search for our page, Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha, and subscribe to the channel. And then once you do that, go ahead and hit the notification bell so that you'll be alerted every time we go live. And then share the page as well. And then just hop right on over to Facebook. The page has the same name, Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil, Sister Tisha. Like, share, and subscribe on that platform as well. All right, back to you, Millie Rock.
And there you are.
Okay.
And so, yes, Greensboro's in the house. Sister Gina Tay is in from Dallas, Texas. Welcome, sister. And also United Tradesmen Academy. All praise due to Allah. Enjoying the show from Detroit, Michigan. D-Town. Can't be any other place in America. D-Town, Detroit. But
could be Dallas.
Could be
Dallas.
Could be somewhere else. Okay. But Sister Katina says she's double subscribed. See your optician, and they can help you with the double subscription. And
wow.
Is that they hold one finger right here and make you look at it. Okay.
Leave us.
All right. Well, we welcome Sister Dawn Muhammad. Where are you watching from, Sister Dawn? So many people coming in the room tonight in anticipation of a great discussion with our guest. I think we should bring him on.
I think so.
I think it's time to bring him on. He is, and I say this without any kind of attempt at puffery or flattery, but he's one of those good brothers that makes you know that what he's doing is not for show. It is from his heart. He's one of the bright lights in the ministry class of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in the Nation of Islam. And as you see on the photograph on your screen right now, he is at home speaking to the people, but more importantly, at home working for the people.
Yes.
Under his leadership in Fort Worth, Texas, Mosque number 52 has grown by leaps and bounds and is now challenging for supremacy in the Southwest region. Ooh, that means something going on down there in Fort Worth. Well, I want to bring my brother. I want to bring my friend, as Sister Brianna calls him, Brother Lee. Let's bring him into the room. Our dear beloved brother, Student Minister Lee Muhammad. Brother Lee, welcome.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha.
Salam, brother. Welcome to Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and
Sister Tisha.
And we are here tonight to do some things that have to be done. We need to hear from you, brother. Because all across America, there are cities and towns that need to know what you know, to see things the way you see them, and to be able to help our people in the elemental, basic, hand-to-hand, face-to-face way that you do. And so I want to thank you as your brother in the ministry and as a member of our nation, a proud citizen of our Nation of Islam, and as a part of Black America, because all over the country, we represent, without regard to religion or faith or identification or membership or affiliation, but we want to say that we are really happy to have you on tonight. We have some questions because we've been thinking about some things which were the cause of us uniting on the show, bringing you on the show. How you feeling tonight, big brother? Tell me what's on your mind. What did you come to talk about?
All praise due to Allah. First of all, Brother Jamil, I want to thank you, as always, and no puffery. I thank you for your years of service and sacrifice and being an example and a great helper to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I've learned much from you, and I pray that you continue to help in this cause, and I thank Allah that you are on our side. All praise due to Allah. And to Sister Tisha, who I have been knowing for just about as long as I've been in the nation. My sister, she's always been the life of the party, still is, so I'm honored to be on this show.
Thank
And
you.
I'm very grateful to Allah to be amongst the living in this hour. So, beloved, again, thank you. And I just want to begin our discussion tonight with, I know that something is going on all across this nation, because if it's going on in Fort Worth is just a mirror of America. When you say America is falling, that includes Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, New Orleans, and any other city. And so after the COVID-19 shut-in, something happened, and I saw it happening. Okay, because the mosque and the church was, before COVID, it was our support group. Okay, when COVID hit and we were stuck at home, you noticed that the same way AA shut down and the drug rehab shut down. Well, when the mosque shut down, we lost our support group, right? And doing that, and especially after that, even to this moment, you've seen an increase in everything. An increase in domestic violence, an increase in divorce, an increase in teen suicide, an increase in teen violence, because this nation is falling. And if nobody knows why it's falling and they can't understand why it's falling, then they cannot handle the pressure of the fall of this world. And so I knew coming out of this pandemic, we're still in the pandemic, but it's waning now. And I know that we have much work to do. It's time for us to get out among our people in our community and give them a life-saving message that can stop the violence that's going on in our communities, not only in the streets, but as I refer to domestic violence, I refer to domestic violence as the war behind closed doors. And so right now in Muhammad Mosque number 52, we're on a lecture series entitled Rebuilding the Black Family. And the reason we're on that lecture series is because we have learned in the city of Fort Worth that since 2016, 101 teenagers have lost their lives to gun violence at the hands of a gun. Now, 110 teenagers, that means our babies are dying. And then we have one of the lowest life expectancies on the south side of Fort Worth. So if we're not dying from a gun as a teenager, then because of our ill health and our lack to medical care and the equality in the medical system, then we don't have the proper medication. We don't have the proper doctors and nurses that can tend to our needs. And so we're dying at a young age on both ends. And so we're very lucky, I would say. And it's something for us to really be proud of, is the fact that we have members in the city of Fort Worth who were actually in 1995 a part of the original local organizing committee. And one of the things that Minister Farrakhan asked us to do, well, really commanded us to do, was to not let the LOCs die. And so now our LOC, with some of those original members, are meeting bi-weekly. And as Minister Farrakhan asked us to do, we must unite to save our youth. And so in the city of Fort Worth, we've united around different organizations that have come together, the LOCs. We have co-conveners of the LOC who are doing things. We have people who have been trained in conflict resolution. We have believers who are involved in the educational system, who have performed conflict resolutions right on campus. And of course, as always, we're on our what we call our initiative of Boots on the Ground initiative. And Boots on the Ground initiative is, we're not going to save our people on Facebook, Instagram, or any other social media platform. We got to go to where they are. Okay. Yes. And so that's our initiative, Boots on the Ground. And last week, just as a side note, last week we were out at an event and we ran into some gangster disciples who were from Chicago in Fort Worth.
Yes.
Okay. And one of them gave us the greetings and we got to talking, and they're willing to sit down with us and help us to solve the violence that we see going on in our community. So we treated them with respect. Right. And in turn, they treated us with respect, and we entered into a dialogue, and now we're ready to sit down at the table. And we've had these conversations with different what you would call street organizations. In fact, about it right before COVID, I was asked to go speak and participate in a tying of the red and blue bandanas of the Bloods and the Crips
Mhm.
in the city of Fort Worth. And so we reach out to our people. We're not afraid of our people. We go to where they are, and we are determined to curb this violence that we see going on in
Praise
our
be to Allah.
communities.
Praise be to Allah. That leads right into one of the key questions. And Tisha, if you don't mind, I want to ask the question about, because Minister Lee said America is going through this, not just Fort Worth or Dallas or New Orleans. But you often hear about Chicago and Los Angeles and Philadelphia, other cities like that have this major so-called gang problem.
Right.
In Fort Worth, you said that you just saw and met gangster disciples from Chicago. Is there a homegrown gang issue in Fort Worth? And if not, or if so, who are the gangs and what can be done to bring them together?
Well, back in the early 90s, Fort Worth was called Murder Worth, okay? Because gangs from LA moved to Texas into the DFW Metroplex and brought that culture in, okay? So a lot of people right now, you got people coming from Detroit, from Chicago, from LA, and they're moving, as the Almighty Elijah Muhammad said they would move from the East Coast and the West Coast, and they would move toward the center. And they're moving for all kinds of reasons, whether it be weather, whether it be the economy or whatever. But what they've done, they've come down, and in the early 90s, you remember Boys in the Hood and
Yes.
all of these other gangster movies that came out, and our young people wanted to emulate what they saw on the big screen.
Right.
Well, they brought that culture down, and the crime rate went up and the murder rate went up, and they called us Murder Worth. And now, right now, brother and sister, you can't even say, if you say Bloods and Crips today in the city of Fort Worth, our youth will say, well, that's old fashioned. Because right now, it's really cliques, okay? That they'll come together, call themselves a gang, and they'll get involved in some criminal activity, but there are different cliques around. They call themselves different names. And the beef that you see, most of them are from Facebook beefs, right? Or some other social media platform where they disrespect one another, and then that turns into a violent confrontation. So that's what we're dealing with. And so we have to, again, we've been out, boots on the ground. We've had to deal with conflict resolution right there on the spot, because they're ready to fight right there on the spot. But if we come and we give them an image of something that is considered civilized, and we talk to them in a civilized way, we have been able to squash the beefs right on the spot.
Wow. Brother Pratt wants to remind us that now his homie is a goner, Jack. The St. Louis brothers want their corner back. They took a trip to St. Louis, and that was cool because nobody knew us. Okay. Yeah, Brother Pratt, we up on Ice Cube, the whole Death Certificate album. But Tisha, you wanted to ask a question to Brother Lee about his work with relationships among people. Did I get that right, what you were saying before?
Yes. Well, I've been knowing Brother Minister for the longest. He's just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. But before we go into that, my interest was piqued a little bit with these gangs because I didn't know about the new cliques and things like that. Are you finding that, like the people, the children participating in the gangs, are they of all age groups? Are you finding this in the schools? Where are you finding these little cliques? Because I'm just lost. I still thought we were, blue and red.
No. we're far from just blue and red. Okay. Wow. And where you find them, sister, is everywhere. Basically, they're in the schools. You're right. They're in the street. If they drop out of school, then they take it to the streets, and it's just, and you'll find them on social media pages and whatnot. And basically, and this is why we're on this, rebuilding the Black family, because when you look at the high divorce rate, you look at all of the Black men who were sent to prison in the 90s, and the children who grew up without a father figure, they don't get that love inside of their home. That actually, as Minister Farrakhan said, that a family is a human need, therefore it's a human right. And if you don't have that family, you're going to look for that family somewhere else. And so they come together in little cliques. They give themselves a name,
Right.
And the same thing that you see all over the nation. They put tags and whatnot, and they spray paint and whatnot. But they're everywhere. To answer your question, they're in the schools, and you just got if you keep your ear to the ground, you'll find them. They're there. But you have to, as I said, you got to meet them where they are.
Absolutely.
Whether it be in school, when we go door to door into apartment complexes, there you will find them. And we just have to meet them where they are and talk to them, and let them know respect for life. That is our message. We have to learn how to respect life. Arguments, according to Psychology Today, in the June 2016 edition, says that most arguments start because there's no mutual, empathetic understanding. Okay, that's why most arguments start, whether they be gang related, whether they be husband and wife, whether they be in the mosque or the church. It's just this lack of mutual, empathetic understanding. Okay, and so again, if you just get down to the root of the problem, bring people to the table, and get them to understand the other person's point of view, most times you can stop the senseless violence among our people.
Amazing. You're listening to and watching Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha. Our special guest tonight, as you can tell, is our brother student minister Lee Muhammad from Mosque number 52 in Fort Worth, Texas, in the South Best region. He sent me a note that told me to say the South Best region.
Oh, yes, you must.
And told me I had to say that. Yeah. So we want to make sure that, and thank you for our brothers and the producing team from the Rockwell Radio Show. They remind us that mutual empathetic understanding has been missing. And that's the Psychology Today magazine from 2016, the month of June, where the story talks about how arguments begin. And so that's where we will be going with that. Human life, no value.
I have a question too.
Yes.
Do you find that, a lot of times some children act out for any kind of attention, right? And you said there's a lack of attention, love, or what have you. And I know it doesn't always have to be that there's no love in the home. It could just be, like you said, an absentee parent or a parent's working. There's just nobody there to give them the attention that they're seeking. And so they turn to each other, right? To form this family bond. And then you guys are doing the boots on the ground, which is beautiful. And they seem to be receptive of it. Do you include the parents in this rebuilding of the community or trying to reach the youth? Because sometimes, it could be that the mom just feels like, I don't know what to do. And they kind of just let them go.
Yes.
Streets. But nobody wants to let the babies go to the streets, right?
Right.
So do you find that the parents are receptive of what you guys are trying to do in the community?
Well, yes. Actually, the parent is really the target, okay? Because the parents really don't know how much influence they have. Minister Farrakhan has spoken many times about when he was growing up, one of the things he desired from his mother was approval. He would run track or he would play his violin, and he would look up to his mother to see if she gave some type of smile or applause or something that would show her approval. And he said he never would get it in that form. Okay. So he just tried harder and harder and harder to get his mother's approval. That's what children need. So when we talk to parents, in fact, we had a meeting a few weeks back. There was really a Zoom conference designed toward parenthood training. Okay. Because if the scripture says train up a child in the way it should go, when it reaches old age, it will not depart from that. Well, what if the parents don't know the way? Okay. What if their parents didn't train them the right way to go? So they raise children and they don't know the way to go. So if you see our children running amok and going sideways, it's because you have to go back to the parents. And we have to teach and train our parents what parenthood actually is. And you cannot be a parent in today's society unless you are equipped with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the time and the environment. I always use this analogy of the coffee bean effect. Okay. For those people who ever cooked, when you put a carrot in some boiling water, the water will change the carrot. It'll go from hard to soft. Mm-hmm. You put the egg in the boiling water, it will boil, mm-hmm. and then the eggshell will get hard because the boiling water affects whatever you put in it. But since I'm a coffee fan, that just happens to be my drug. That's my drug of choice.
Okay.
All right, I'm a coffee fan.
We understand.
I did go 30 days during the month of Ramadan without it, but I made it, all praise due to Allah. But when you look at a coffee bean,
yes,
when you put a coffee bean inside of a boiling pot, yes, that coffee bean changes the environment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Unlike the carrot or the egg that's changed by the environment, the coffee bean changes the environment. So we have to teach our parents how to teach their children not to allow the environment to change them,
all right,
but for them to change their environment.
Beautiful, beautiful. We got time before our bottom of the hour break for one question. I want to go to the comment section. I'm sure you already saw it, Tisha, but the beautiful question is asked by Sister Gina Tay Muhammad of Austin, Texas. I had made the mistake earlier, but now they're in Austin, Texas. And she makes a mistake, ask the question and says, if love is being given in the home, but the child is still being pulled into the streets or to the world, what do you suggest in that case?
That's a good question. Mm-hmm. So if they're showing that love, yes, and the child is being pulled to the streets or the world, mm-hmm, well, it's a tough battle today. But as parents, we have to do a better job. See, our idea of love, okay, mm-hmm, is, giving them things, showing an expression of, trying to discipline them. And everybody needs discipline, because discipline is actually, again, a human need.
Right.
And therefore a human right. Most brothers, when you take them out of the public school system and put them in an alternative school where there's more discipline, they actually do better, right? Because they need discipline. But what we have to do as parents is we have to do, and I'm saying this as a parent myself, I had to learn to do this, was to realize that the world has changed so much in the last 20 to 30 years. What our children are dealing with today, we didn't have to deal with it 20 years ago.
Right.
Okay, because the internet has opened the door to temptation you would not have even thought of 20 or 30 years ago. Okay, I mean the sex is just so readily available at the touch of a button. Violent videos are ready at the touch of a button. So I think as parents, we should try more of listening and trying to find out where the mind of our children are, so that we can take their mind where it is to take it to where it needs to be. I had to learn it because they have a whole different language. They have a whole different code of conduct. The rap music that they listen to is far. I'm listening to, I can't understand what the rappers are saying, but they do.
Mm-hmm.
Now you all hold the point. There's more coming from Brother Minister Lee after the break, but I want to tell you, go ahead and put your questions and comments into the thread. We want to make sure we can recognize you, and we'll try to get to as many questions as we can. And our brother will give us and share his contact information so that you can reach out for him and become a part of the network that he and others are establishing all over the country. Is so very important. So you're listening and watching Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha.
Already.
Did you say already? We were inspired by all the Texans on the line tonight. Okay, already. We bars none?
None.
Okay. All right. I'm just trying to get my Texas up. But we want to make sure that everybody can stay tuned. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back right after this.
Okay, everybody, so we're still out moving something, and Hamid is not pleased because I'm running him to all these stores. We already been to IKEA, and he didn't love it. I don't know why. And now we're at the grocery store because he's out of yogurt, and I'm out of coffee cream, and this just can't happen. Hey, Hamid.
Yeah.
Are you having a good time?
Oh, yeah. I'm having a call. Yeah.
All right, and then after this, we'll go to Home Depot because Home Depot, they have some fresh flowers out, and I need another case thing for my, don't worry about it. I'll show you. And Hobby Lobby, but that's the last one, I promise. It's not a problem, right?
No, that's not a problem.
All right, move something. All right.
2 hours later.
Okay, assalamualaikum, everybody. So, we've been out all day running.
Yeah, all day.
It was good though. It was fun. It was fun. Running errands, and now we're back. So we're working our way back home, pulling our groceries. And I just wanted you guys to see Hamid's face because he had so much fun at the grocery store and at IKEA, my favorite store. He didn't get to go to Home Depot, but that's okay. I'll go tomorrow by myself with his card. Okay. All right. You don't want to go to Home Depot, right? You'll just give me your card. Is that fine? Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Hamid? Hello?
That's fine.
All right. Assalamualaikum. Move
Game's on
something.
tomorrow. Baseball.
I don't do that. I'm going to buy plants.
Pittsburgh Pirates.
Assalamualaikum.
Good fun. Yeah. Move something. That's the goal. The goal.
First off, you and that camera, well, all praise is due to Allah, Brother Lee. We don't want to have the war behind closed doors.
Right.
Yeah, we don't want to have that. But we do know that our brother, Student Minister Lee from Fort Worth, Texas, is on the line with us, and he's got lots to add to the value and quality of our life. And I bet you that he doesn't have to go to Home Depot or IKEA or the supermarket to do that. If I were a wagering man, I would wager that. But my brother's with us tonight, and there are some questions and comments in the comment section that we'd like to share. A couple of things, brother William Muhammad from Oakland, California. Good to see you, nephew. He comes on the line. He says, Minister Farrakhan said, if you aren't getting the response you want, it's because you are using the wrong words. There is a key to the lock of your child's mind. You just need to learn what key to use. And I think Brother William was bearing witness to what you said earlier, Brother Lee, that they understand each other's language, but we need to learn it. Is that something that's pursuant to what Brother William is putting in the comment?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They have a whole different language and culture. And we need to learn where they are, get in touch with their mind, So I agree with that. Absolutely. Just listening, when you talk about listening, I learned that, communication is 70% listening. Okay. And to what brother just said, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has taught us that no matter how dark a mind may seem, there is a spark of light in every mind. That if we can reach that spark of light and begin to feed that light, then that person will wake up and come up out of a savage condition into a more civilized condition.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for that answer, Tisha.
Wow. You know how it just all makes so much sense. We just need to listen to our babies. It's so much on their mind, and sometimes they feel disconnected from their parents. Oh, they're just, you'll never understand. You're never this, you're never that. But it's because a lot of times we talk at them. We don't try to hear what they're trying to say because we know we've already been there. But like you said, things are moving so fast and moving. It's so much different than when we grew up.
Yes.
The music is different. The pressures are different, everything. So just when you just stop and just let them get out what they need to say in a respectful manner, of course. But you guys got to get on the same page, and then you'll be better able to help them with what they may think is such a big problem. It may not even be a big problem, right? You just need to know what it is, what type of help it is that they need. So I agree with that. As parents, we need to listen. Beautiful.
Yes, sir. Brother, let me ask you something, Brother Minister, about the war behind closed doors. And that's, of course, between spouses, which the marriage is the root of the family, and we are all calling for stronger families. How do you call for stronger marriages between men and women? What's the strategy there? And is that relative to the quality of parenting that we provide for our children?
Well, we are taught in the Nation of Islam by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that the family is the basic unit of civilization, and that the cornerstone of the family is the union between man and wife. Now, we live in a world where the family structure is under assault. The ideal family of a man and a woman, where the man is the head of his household and he provides for his household, and the mother teaches and trains the children, that structure has been under assault. You can watch television shows, and I hate to give away my age, but I remember black and white shows with Leave It to Beaver. You know, daddy would come home and put his hat on the, and say daddy's home, and daddy would get respect, Today, the father in the house is ridiculed, he's mocked, the wife is talking down to him, he's made to look docile and stupid. And this is the image that's being portrayed on television. And so what happens is that our roles are being reversed. Men are being emasculated and weakened. And this is what causes frustration in the home. When you talk about domestic violence, it's not always the man beating on the woman. Sometimes it's the woman beating up on the man. Sometimes it's the parents beating up on the children. Sometimes it's the children beating up on the parent, because everybody's frustrated, because everybody's confused about what their role is in the family structure. And so what I've learned, I did a series a few years back, right before COVID, on this particular subject of domestic violence. And I found out that what the root cause is, again, those arguments. A man comes home, he's frustrated, or the woman's frustrated. And somebody may use words that makes the other person feel bad. In turn, they use words because they want you to feel the way they feel. And so the brother, he may have been taught all his life, don't hit women, and so he may not hit his wife with his fist, but when you use words to beat somebody down, that is actually classified as domestic violence. So words hurt, words matter. The gang violence that you see is because of words that are being used, and these words hurt. And then if somebody is not intelligent enough to respond with words, then they respond with violence. They respond with guns. Same thing in the house with husband and the wife. When a man just can't deal with the words anymore, then he resorts to something else, his fist. Or the woman can't, respond to the words, she picks up the knife or the gun or whatever, and you have death. These things are going on even in our police departments, brothers and sisters. We're getting reports that the police are having these problems with domestic violence and killing in their homes. The whole nation is unraveling.
Yes.
Okay, it's unraveling because there's a disrespect for life now. And we have to get the message back out that we have to respect life, because God is the creator of all life. He is the authority. And if we don't respect the authority of all creation, then we will continue to see this waste of life, because we have lost connection with our creator, and therefore we've lost our respect for one another.
You're listening to Student Minister Lee Muhammad from Muhammad Mosque number 52 in Fort Worth, Texas. Very special guest tonight on Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha. And we have a message tonight that we want to share with you. See, life is not all fun and jokes. We smile and we have a good time, and we try to keep it as light as we can. But when our brother comes now to deal with these issues, he's touching a nerve. The comment section is alive. And Sister Marilyn X. Brown reminds us that words hurt truly. Sister Gina Tay says, I think of many times we misconceive where our children are coming from. Listening to teenagers and young adults is a very important thing. Sister Katina says people can be in the same incident but have a totally different experience. Let the children express how they feel. So what Brother Lee is encouraging us to do, if I'm hearing you right, sir, you're saying that we need to have a systematic, intentional approach to making and maintaining peace within our marriages and households that causes our children to come up in a much more wholesome atmosphere. That's what we need to do. But
yes.
But the question remains: there is a group in the middle there, young people who today have not had that. You know, there's some young people who never got that. And so, what do we do in their case? What do we do with them?
You know, let me say this because I didn't realize this until a few days ago. Okay, I found out that if you write an essay or a poem, an essay, or article in any type of publication, and that publication is actually published, then that technically makes you a published author. Okay. And I say that to say this. I realized a few days ago that I'm a published author. Okay. Because a very good friend of mine asked me to write 2 essays in 2 different books that he produced. And I want to bring this up because to your point that you just raised, Brother Jamil, because the brother who asked me to do this, his name is Ricky Clark, and he's been a mentor in the educational system for the 20 years that I've been knowing him in the city of Fort Worth. And so he asked me to write these essays. One of the books is called, I have it right here, What My Daddy Should Have Told Me. Life Lessons for African American Males. Okay, well, what if your daddy was not there to even tell you that?
Come on.
See, this is why as men, we're going to have to take responsibility. Yes, first for our family. Okay, that's number one. Charity begins at home.
Yes.
But then we're going to have to take some responsibility for our children. We have to start looking at these young men as our sons, an extension of our family, our people. So that if we just we're just concerned with our children and raising them a certain way. But again, if they get out there into an environment where other children didn't have that father figure who would tell them certain things, give them certain life lessons, those ones who are marginalized, and as you say, Brother Jamil, they're in the middle. They didn't have that. Well, then we're going to have to take responsibility for that. Okay, we have to go where they are. And so through these different organizations, I've been allowed to teach in certain schools and to teach these young men. And you find out that that's what they've been missing. That's what they've been wanting. They've been looking for, what does it mean to be a man?
Wow.
What is that? They want to know, because I know when I was a teenager, I was at that crossroad. What I'm about to go into manhood. What is that? Okay, and you need a man in your life, whether it be, if it's not an uncle, it got to be somebody from the church, from the mosque, somebody to intervene in that person's life and sit them down and tell them everything that should have been told to them when they were younger. But now you have to step in as that big uncle.
Yes.
And take responsibility.
Yes, sir. Sister Tisha, any question that you have or comment?
It's just beautiful. How important is it to make sure? Well, I guess you're saying it. I'm thinking how important it is that we have to make sure our children have a healthy, what is it? Self-esteem or self-worth?
Sure, self-worth.
Self-worth.
Yes.
Because when you know who you are, and if it was put into you who you are and what you are and who you're going to be, it doesn't seem like it'd be so easy for the streets to pull you. And if it does, it just takes a little bit for somebody to remind you, grab you by your shirt collar and remind you who you are. Right. So it's important that if they don't get it, and if our youth don't get it in the home, they get it somewhere, whether it's at school, whether it's at church, at the mosque, the neighbor next door. Remind these children that you are great. You don't have to be acting like this, or however you're acting, or you don't have to go wherever you're going. Looks like this is a community.
It's funny though, honey, but when you say that, it reminds me of the broader influence of the cultural atmosphere. Like you said it, and it's true, in the home and in the church and in the mosque, we, as Brother Lee said, we can remind our young people that they are great. But as Brother Taiwan Muhammad points out in the comment section, he's also from Fort Worth, Texas. He points out in the comment section that words matter. He said that's why the covert war on hip hop happened. Music was always the voice of the youth. So now the music has dumbed our people down.
Right.
Do you find that that's the case, Brother Lee?
Oh, absolutely. Well, that leads me to the second book. The second book, kindergarten to 12th grade. can equal 13 years a slave. Okay. We've been miseducated. Okay. Not only has the rap music been dumbed down, the whole educational system has dumbed our people down. And in this particular article, I talked about when I was in, and I'm giving away my age again, in 1989. Okay. I was in the 12th grade.
Did y'all have color TV back then, or was there?
We just got I think we just got the VHR, and we was recording the Cosby Show. Okay, but we was moving on up like the Jeffersons. But I remember in 88, 89, there was the KRS-One, there was the Public Enemies,
yes,
right? And they produced a culture where we were walking around wearing African medallions, right? And kufis and whatnot, and we would, we want to know, who we were. We were coming into consciousness, that self-esteem that Sister Tisha was talking about. We started getting it. We started reading. I went through 12 years and didn't know who Malcolm X was. I certainly didn't know who Elijah Muhammad was or Minister Farrakhan was. So when I finally found out through Public Enemy, I became so angry, but I channeled that anger into actually going to a library and a black bookstore and learning about myself. Okay. But also at that same time, when Public Enemy was at its height, there was a thesis and then there was an antithesis, right? So you had the conscious rap and then came the gangster rap. So now we're at a crossroad. Either you're going to go with the conscious rapper's way, or you're going to want to emulate the gangster style. Unfortunately, many of my peers that I went to school with, they chose the gangster path. And in 1989, we made national attention of some of our students robbing stores and blockbusters, trying to get money to get diamond gold chains. And they were holding up people because they heard Easy talking about everybody get on the ground, nobody move, nobody get hurt. So they tried to emulate that and got 25 years to life.
Man.
See, but that was by design. Somebody saw us waking up in consciousness, and then they had to bring an antithesis to lull us back to sleep. And right to this day, the music has been dumbed down. Because in every generation, there's a wave of consciousness that comes through the music that awakens our people up, and we start getting on the move today. And so next month will be National Men's Health Month and Black Music Month. So we're going to celebrate some positive Black music next month, and we're going to celebrate and deal with the health of Black men in our city.
Excellent, excellent. And brother, I have to tell you, this is an exciting conversation. I want to thank you, Tisha, for the depth of your questions and for the fact that they open up such beautiful lines of answer from brother, because he's coming back with us and giving us more information. I want to remind everybody of a couple of things. Yes, I'm going to say to you that you're viewing Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha. You already know that. But I want to tell you all, and Sister Tisha is going to come forward later to tell us more about this, but we're going to need your help to spread this word. If we were on these airwaves, twerking and jerking and waving money and making it rain and acting a fool, we'd have thousands of views overnight. But as it stands, our viewership increases steadily, slowly and steadily. But we want to make sure that we get all of you who are the family, spread the word. Let folks know about this program, because people like Minister Lee should be heard all around the world.
Right.
They should be heard frequently. They should be heard all around the world. Next level, we're coming to answer your question. The Cash App will be on the screen soon, but Sister Tisha will take us into that. She's the person who handles that for the program, and she'll be back with you in about 3 minutes to do that. But as we begin to wrap up the conversation, you can tell that tonight's guest put a lot on all of our minds.
It's heavy. It's heavy.
A lot on all of our minds, because there are issues. Yes, we depend on popular culture, but we also depend on parenting in the household. We also depend on arriving at some kind of mutual, empathetic understanding.
That's right.
It allows us to keep peace in our homes and allows us to treat other people like we want to be treated ourselves. And so, and I thank you all for putting in the comments how wonderful the show has been. Thank you, Sister Brianna. Thank you, Sister Katina. Thank you so many, all of you around the country. Next Level, you know we love you. We appreciate you. Sister Gina Tay and everybody. It looks like the whole state of Texas is with us tonight.
No,
I don't know how it happened.
it
Texas
would be.
It could be. But we are grateful for our guest. He's going to have some last words. But right now, I'm going to give you to the world's most beautiful host. And I might be a little prejudiced, okay? But did I tell you?
Oh,
Did I tell you, you look like a honeybee tonight, though, girl?
the camera.
Yeah.
Give me the camera. Okay, assalamualaikum, everybody. Once again, we want to thank you for tuning in for another edition of Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha. This one has been great. This is a heavy one. I'm a little shamed because I don't know if I'm supposed to really, but I like gangster rap. Look at my sign. Drink some coffee, put on some gangster rap, and handle it. I'm gonna have to put that down. Anyway, but guys, we need your help to spread this platform. Like Brother Jamil said earlier, the views are coming, but they're slow. And so the best way you can do that, we're finding, is if you just share the show, share it over to all your platforms that you're on, and it'll spread wide, spread wider and wider. We also are taking love donations via our Cash App. And so if you want to help in that arena, then you can just make a cash donation to $BroWorks, $BroWorks. And any donations that we receive go directly to promoting the show. Okay, for things of that nature. Don't forget to go to our YouTube channel, Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha, and then go ahead and subscribe to it. For some reason, the subscriptions are, I don't know what's going on with that, but we really need your help with this, guys. That's the main thing you can do for us. Subscribe to each of these platforms and share it. That's about it. Okay, and then come back next week. Bring a friend as well.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yes. We got some surprises for you next week. We will prove to you next week right here, God willing, and the creek don't rise, but we'll prove to you that not all of the music has been dumbed down.
That's right.
And not all of the young
That's
people
right.
have been
That's
compromised.
Right.
We got a young brother for you who's a phenom. I'm not going to tell you the whole thing, but he's coming up out of Nashville, Tennessee. And if you ever heard Pete Rock and CL Smooth.
Oh, yes.
Yes, those are people from way back in Brother Lee's day.
Yeah, way back.
Yeah, if you ever heard of DJ Quick and the way he operates behind those ones and twos and that board, if you've ever heard these great music producers, you're going to definitely want to tune in next week right here at this same place to hear this program. Brother Lee, we appreciate you so very much. You could have said, no, I'm busy, because you can see that he is. He could have had something else to do tonight, and I guarantee you he did. But he graced us and honored us with his presence, and he shared with us that which gives us life. We intend to respond to it. And so, Brother Lee, it's fitting and appropriate that this last 2 minutes you take for your last word. We want to hear from you and respond to you.
How can we help? How can the community help you?
All praise is due to Allah. The community can help, believe it or not, by supporting this show and shows like this. Okay, we spend our money for everything, and like Brother Jamil said, if I got up and did the jiggy and started dancing and cutting the food, we get all kind of hits. But we need to get messages out to our people that can offset the balance of the negativity that we see and hear all day, every day on social media. And even when Sister Tisha says she listens to gangster rap, see, the difference is what she brings to the table. If you know who you are, and you're a thinking person and an intelligent person, and you have truth rooted in you, you can listen to anything and you can extract life lessons from whatever you hear. But if our people don't have that in them to recognize reality from illusion, then they'll fall victim to the illusion. And so, yes, we want to celebrate music, we want to celebrate life, and we want to learn how to respect life. I'll close with this point. One of the co-conveners of the Justice or Else movement and many other organizations have got together. And this Saturday on June 4th, we're going to have a Manpower and Music Fest. I'll be on a panel and I'll be one of the keynote speakers at this event. And I want us to focus on, we want to do what we did at the Million Man March and show the world that we can come together as a people for something positive. There won't be no fighting, no cussing. We'll love one another and we'll be focusing on health. So it's going to be a 5K, 1K run and walk. And we want to focus in on our health because I remember very vaguely, again, I'm giving away my age, but in The Godfather Part 2, one of those old crime bosses told Michael, you can get the money and you can get the power, but if a man don't have his health, he don't have nothing.
Come on.
So we want to focus on the health of Black men because we're dying from prostate cancer, we're dying from high blood pressure, we're dying from all kinds of diseases that can be prevented, but we want to focus on our health. If we're going to put a good gas in our car, even though gas is $4.49 a gallon in Fort Worth, still, if you're going to put good gas in your car, let's put some good food in our body. And while we're doing that, we're going to have some edutainment, educational music, positive rap music, get the spirit up. We'll be reporting to you live via Facebook and all our social media platforms, letting you know how the day go. And we're going to ask that you duplicate that wherever you are in your city. And I'll close with this final comment. If you go to our YouTube channel, MOS number 52 AV, we have the first installment of a 3-part lecture series, Rebuilding the Black Family. You can go check that out and give us your thoughts on that. And then we will come back on Sunday with part 2, and then we'll do a part 3 because we are determined to rebuild a family, because whatever problem we have in our society is rooted in the family or the lack thereof.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Thank you.
This has been Brother Lee Muhammad from Fort Worth, Texas.
Yay.
And thank you, brother, for having been on our airwaves. Tisha, your comments as we go.
This is just great. You've got to come back again. We're going to give it a month or so. Is that enough time, Brother Lee? Then you come back.
That's enough time. That's enough time.
Because we want to continue this discussion. This is so important. Our youth is so important. You know, that's my soft spot, the babies. Okay, so we'll have you back. Everybody, make sure you tune in. I mean, you gotta say it because I don't know the saying about the creek rising. No, the creek rising.
That's country.
That's Pride 75.
Okay, it's Pride 75. Let me just say this, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. As my beautiful wife just put back on me to tell you, we are grateful for you spending this time with us every Thursday, and we do not take for granted that you spend this time and tune in with us. So between now and next Thursday, don't do anything to anybody that you wouldn't have them do unto you. Next Thursday at 8 o'clock, Allah willing, and the creek don't rise. We'll be right back here with more of Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha. And we want to make sure you're here with us too. Thanks, everybody. We love you. May Allah bless you. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.